Now a face-off between Florida and the White House. The FDA revoking emergency use authorization for 2 COVID treatments.
They are still advocating for treatments that don't work.
All state-run monoclonal antibody sites now shut down. Governor DeSantis firing back.
This is wrong what they're doing, and we have many people now who are very concerned because they were going to go in and get it today or tomorrow.
Right now on Good Day Orlando, state lawmakers on both sides of the aisle sound off. And joining us for more on this debate is State Representative Carlos Guillermo-Smith and Representative Scott Plake. And great to see you both. Thanks for being here.
Good morning.
Representative Plake, let's start with you. You got the treatment. You said it helped you recover. So how do you balance that with the FDA's finding? And then the manufacturer, Eli Lilly, agreed with that.
Well, good morning. As we said last night, both Representative Smith and I had COVID last week. And I'm 62 years old. After talking to 2 medical professionals in my family, I decided to do it. I was having breathing problems. My oxygen was in the 80s. So I went and got it. So the federal government has said this drug works. Then now they're saying it doesn't work. They've said don't wear masks. Now they're saying wear masks. And one of the casualties of this is they flip-flopped in so many different ways, it's hard to predict what's next.
Representative Guillermo-Smith, Governor DeSantis, as you know, called this decision reckless. I know you have a very different perspective on the decision. You also went through COVID last week.
That's right. I contracted COVID last week, and thankfully, because of the fact that I'm fully vaccinated and boosted, I had a really quick recovery time with mild symptoms. I agree with the decision that the FDA made to pull back on Regeneron and Eli Lilly monoclonals because all of the science shows that it doesn't work. And this has been a decision that folks have been expecting for quite some time because that's what all of the early research has shown. And if you don't want to take my word for it or the FDA's, all you have to look to is the American Medical Association, the NIH, and both Regeneron and Eli Lilly, the manufacturers themselves, who say that their own product is not effective at treating Omicron. We shouldn't be using it. What Governor DeSantis should be doing is he should stop pushing ineffective treatments, and he should encourage Floridians to get vaccinated, which still is the most effective tool that we have at combating the virus. That has not changed.
Yeah, there are critics on both sides, though, that say that they should see the clinical data. That was one thing the governor complained about. Carlos, let's start with you briefly. Should they provide the clinical numbers? Obviously, you mentioned all those, and you're right. Eli Lilly did say our vaccine or this doesn't work.
Well, what they've already been able to provide so far is that virtually all early studies demonstrate that it is not effective. I'm not sure why that, in addition to the manufacturers themselves and the FDA and the American Medical Association, which represents America's doctors, is not enough for Governor DeSantis. But I'm not surprised that he's using this opportunity to pick another fight with the Biden administration, because it's very clear that his ambitions are driving this wedge between the state of Florida and the federal government, and it's not in the best interest of Floridians.
Scott, I want to get your response to that. And should Florida put out their numbers when they say it has been effective? Should we see those numbers?
Well, I think everyone should. And I looked on the website of Regeneron, last night, and it said it's 81% effective in a study done. So I haven't seen the science that you're talking about that says it's not. But, you said 99%. Well, that means 1% is other strains, and who knows what the next strain is. It really comes down to a fundamental question. It really is, as Americans, who gets to make the choices over our own health? Is it Dr. Biden? And I'm not talking about Dr. Jill Biden. I'm talking about what seems to be Dr. Joe Biden. Or is it my family doctor and medical professionals in my family? Can we make the best health decisions for ourselves, relying on looking at the various science out there? So to pull this away right now seems like another flip-flop and seems politically motivated by the Biden administration. We should be able to choose what treatments that we would like to take. And, it just seems like this is the latest overreach by the Biden administration. And I think I agree with the governor, it's just dead wrong.
Want to finish with this in about 30 seconds for each answer. There's some pushback that we were even discussing this online. So, Carlos, let me talk with you. In terms of getting sides out there and hearing from both sides, how important is that? Obviously, misinformation is a bad thing, and everyone wants to be careful of that.
It's just really frustrating that sides have formed around the issue of whether or not the Eli Lilly and Regeneron monoclonals are effective. The manufacturers who made this therapy say that it doesn't work, and they say we should stop using it. We should not make this available to the public when all of the science tells us it doesn't work. Just like we should not be pushing ivermectin, just like we should not be pushing other unproven therapies. This makes no sense. We have to stop squandering our resources on things that don't work and encouraging Floridians to get vaccinated, because we already know that that is the most effective tool. That has not changed. All of the science tells us that. I think this argument is ridiculous and political.
Representative Plakin, final word.
Well, I agree it's political, and this political aspect has really been started by the administration, really Dr. Fauci even before the administration, when he said, don't wear a mask, and they said, oh, we really just fooled you, wear a mask now. We just wanted to make sure medical professionals. So it started there, and then these Dr.
That's
Fauci
nonsense. That's nonsense. It's misinformation. It's misinformation, and I hope that later today you have two doctors to talk about this issue later rather than two politicians. I think this is absurdly political.
All right, we got to leave it there. We have had doctors on. We did this morning as well. Representative Scott Plakin, Representative Carlos Guillermo-Smith, really appreciate both your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Doesn't work.
All right, so there are the sides. Find out more on the continuing coverage on the ongoing debate, as well as the treatment sites that remain open.